Hey guys, today's video of mine is going to be a lot more different from my previous videos because this is a purely academic based video. As we all know, the second wave of coronavirus has begun, due to which the educational institutes are switching over to the online platforms yet again. And that is why I'm here today. I've been asked to present a seminar on this platform. So let us begin. Well, the topic that I'll be dealing with today is cell death. In particular, we'll be talking about apoptosis. We'll talk about the events, regulators, intrinsic and extrinsic pathway of apoptosis. But apart from these things, we'll also be talking about the diseases associated, the treatment strategies, the future scope of apoptotic-based drugs, etc. So let us begin. Well, before we actually start off with apoptosis, before we start defining what apoptosis is and the different pathways, let me just brief you with the basics. We already know that a cell undergoes a cell injury when it encounters stress, any sort of stress. And the kind of cell injury that it undergoes, there are two types. One is reversible, the other one is irreversible. See, when the stress is of a severe nature for a longer period of time, then the cell undergoes irreversible cell injury, which means the cell cannot reverse back. The cell cannot come back to its original state. That is called irreversible cell injury. And we are focusing on irreversible cell injury because apoptosis is a type of irreversible cell injury. Before we actually begin with the definition of apoptosis and the different pathways, let us first consider a few examples here, which is seen during embryogenesis. Embryogenesis is the formation of embryo. This is the stage that comes after the zygote formation. Firstly, there's formation of zygote and then there's embryogenesis. During embryogenesis, we see the different organs that is forming. Now, what happens here is that more than half of many types of nerve cells die soon after they are formed. See, in order to innervate an organ during embryogenesis, what do you mean by innervating an organ? Innervating an organ means to supply that organ with nerves. So to supply that organ with nerves, what happens is many nerves move out or grow out from the central nervous system. To be specific, the spinal cord. The number of nerves that actually move out from the spinal cord to reach the target organ is much more than required. The target organ does not require those many nerves, but those many nerves move out from the central nervous system. So what happens here is that once it reaches the target organs, the nerve cells reaches the target organs, more than half of these nerve cells, they die. Another example can be sculpting of fingers. See, during embryogenesis, our fingers are not how it looks now. Basically, during embryogenesis, our hand represents a paddle, which means there is no gap between the fingers. Our hand right now, we have gaps between the fingers, even in our hands and even in our toes. But during embryogenesis, it represents a paddle. In order to form fingers, that is called sculpting of fingers. During the sculpting of fingers, the cells in between the fingers, they die. Another example can be harmful T or B lymphocytes. See, this particular example is not only restricted to the embryogenesis, it can also be seen throughout the lifetime. If a harmful lymphocyte is formed in the bone marrow, if the lymphocyte is an abnormal lymphocyte, or if it's a non-functional lymphocyte, or if it is potentially harmful to our own body cells, then that can cause autoimmune diseases, due to which, to prevent the autoimmune diseases, these cells have to undergo cell death. So what we are able to see here is that in all these three examples, the cells are undergoing a type of cell suicide. Cells are killing themselves for the benefit of the organism. This itself is called apoptosis. Now, to define apoptosis it's a process of internally programmed and coordinated cell death. Moving on to the next slide. Apoptosis has significance both physiologically and pathologically. Now, what does this mean? See, we've already seen in the previous slide that during the normal course of action, during the normal body functioning also, apoptosis occurs. We discussed the examples of embryogenesis. Not just embryogenesis, even throughout the lifetime also, apoptosis can occur normally in several situations. So that is physiological apoptosis that takes place in the body normally without the presence of any external factor or external foreign microorganism. When we talk about pathological apoptosis, this particular apoptosis occurs when the body is experiencing some sort of a pathological state. That is, if there is the presence of any microorganism in our body, then that will, or not just microorganism, if any pathological state of the body leading to apoptosis is called pathological apoptosis. Now we'll discuss one by one, starting with physiological apoptosis. Example can be regression of lactating breast after withdrawal of breastfeeding. The lactating mother, the mother who's actually breastfeeding her child, there is this lactation period for which she breastfeeds her child. After that particular phase, after that particular period, the breast cells, they undergo apoptosis. They kill themselves, they undergo apoptosis, due to which there is regression of lactating breast. That is, the lactating breast comes back to its normal size. Moving on to compensate new proliferation of cells. See, proliferation is multiplication. To compensate new proliferation of cells means when the new cells are formed, when the new cells are produced, then the older cells, the weaker cells, the worn out cells have to undergo cell death in order to make room, in order to make space for the new cells to exist. Here, if I have to give an example, the best example can be intestinal epithelial cells. See, intestine is one organ or one part of the body which is highly regenerative. What does that mean? It means that the intestinal epithelial cells, they are regenerated. They undergo regeneration regularly. Now, why is this required? Why is this regeneration required? This is required because during the process of digestion in the intestine, during the process of absorption of nutrients from the intestine, we know that the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acid, etc. takes place in the intestine during the process of peristaltic movement, during which the unabsorbed material is passed on from one compartment to the other. During this whole process, the cells of the intestine, they experience lots of wear and tear, due to which they have to be regularly replaced. They have to be regularly replaced by new cells. So this regeneration occurs every 5 to 6 days in intestine. So this is the example where the older cells, they undergo cell death by apoptosis. Another example can be apoptosis of neutrophils in bone marrow. See, we know that formation of neutrophils takes place in the bone marrow. In fact, not just neutrophils, any other formed elements. We know that the process of hematopoiesis or hemopoiesis occurs in the bone marrow. Again, hemopoiesis is divided into erythropoiesis, where there's formation of red blood cells, leukopoiesis, where there's formation of white blood cells, thrombopoiesis, where there's formation of platelets. All these things occurs in the bone marrow. But here what they are saying is apoptosis of neutrophils occurs in the bone marrow. And what you have to understand here is that the neutrophils, they undergo cell death in the bone marrow even before they are released into the systemic circulation. So now the question that arises is that why is this happening? If the neutrophils are unable to perform their function, if the neutrophils have not even been released into the systemic circulation, then why was it produced in the first place? Well, the reason is that this cycle of production of neutrophils, and then the neutrophils undergoes apoptosis. Again, production of neutrophils, and then again the neutrophils undergo apoptosis. This cycle of production and destruction, it ensures that there is always a ready-made supply of neutrophils present in the body. Now, why do we need a ready-made supply? We need a ready-made supply because we do not know when we can be infected with a pathogen. When we can be infected with a foreign microorganisms in our body. So the body has to be well equipped. The body has to be ready to fight the diseases or any other microorganism whenever it enters our body. That is why, to ensure the ready-made supply, the neutrophils have to be made continuously, and since at that point of time there are no microorganisms in the body, hence the neutrophils undergo apoptosis in the bone marrow. Another example of physiological apoptosis can be death of cells that have served their useful purpose. Let me give you an example of white blood cells again. Let's say lymphocytes. Let's say I have been infected with some sort of microorganism, some bacteria. And now what happens? Since I've been infected with the bacteria, the defense system of my body, it gets activated. The white blood cells are released into the blood circulation. Let's say the lymphocytes are released. Now what they do, they kill the foreign microorganism. They perform phagocytosis, and now the microorganism is cleared from my body. Now I do not have any foreign microorganism in my body. Now what happens? That lymphocyte which was released, it has done its job very well, it has performed its function, its role is over. Now that particular lymphocyte has to undergo cell death. That is what they mean when they say death of cells that have served their useful purpose. Their work is done, their job is done. Now they undergo apoptosis. Apart from this, there are many other examples of physiological apoptosis. For example, the physiological apoptosis is also seen during the hormonal imbalance, which is called hormone dependent apoptosis. For example, endometrial cell wall shedding during menstruation every month. What happens is, due to the imbalance of the hormones estrogen and progesterone, the endometrial cell walls, they break down, they degenerate, they shed off. So this shedding of endometrial cell is due to apoptosis. They follow up the process of apoptosis. Apart from this, also as I mentioned, during embryogenesis, organs are made. There's formation of organs from the mass of cells. Zygote basically divides into several masses of cells, and these masses of cells, they form the different organs of the body during embryogenesis. So what happens is that we know the different organs of our body, whether it's the liver, the brain, the heart, they all have different shapes. So how does those organs get their particular characteristic shape? Is because of apoptosis. The unwanted cell masses, the unwanted cell concentrates undergo apoptosis, cell death, and hence the particular characteristic shape of the organ is obtained. So that is about physiological apoptosis. Apart from physiological apoptosis, we have another very important segment, another very important part here, which is the pathological apoptosis. So starting with DNA damage. See, when a cell encounters severe stress in the form of radiation or ischemia is the reduced blood supply to a particular organ or tissue, which is followed by hypoxia, that is the decreased oxygen supply to a particular organ or tissue. When all these stresses are encountered by a cell, and if the DNA of the cell is damaged, if due to these stresses, the cells encounters a DNA damage, and if this DNA damage is irreparable, if the DNA cannot be repaired, then what happens? There is risk of mutation. Mutation can occur, due to which there's risk of cancer. We do not want, our body does not want that to happen, due to which the cells that have undergone DNA damage have to kill themselves by a process called apoptosis. In fact, here what is important to note is that the cancerous cells, they are the cells which have actually lost their ability to undergo apoptosis. In fact, apoptosis is the body's one of the main weapons against cancer. Our body has its own weapon against various diseases in order to prevent itself from undergoing, from contracting those diseases. And one such weapon of our body to prevent cancer is apoptosis, cell death, cell suicide. Okay, another example here can be loss of infected cells in case of viral hepatitis. See here what happens in hepatitis, there's inflammation of the liver cells due to the infection by virus. So what happens, these cells, the liver cells which have been infected by this particular virus, those infected cells, they undergo apoptosis, which means they undergo cell death. Why are they undergoing cell death? Because they do not want that particular virus to replicate in that cell and spread elsewhere. They want to restrict the damage done to the liver. They want to restrict the spread of the infection. To check the spread of the infection, the infected cells itself undergo apoptosis. Similar example can be given where there is a loss of or destruction of CD4 cells in AIDS. In AIDS, it is seen that the HIV virus, it attacks the CD4 cells of the body, which is a type of defense cells of the body. So what happens is these CD4 cells, they undergo apoptosis. They kill themselves so that the HIV virus, which is present inside those cells, do not replicate, do not spread to the surrounding nearby cells. So that is another example. Apart from that, we have allograft rejection. Allograft is basically an organ transplanted from another person or another organism of the same species. Allograft rejection is seen during organ transplantation. Here what happens is that the organ that has been transplanted, it is triggered to undergo apoptosis by our body's cytotoxic T cells. So our body's cytotoxic T cells, it triggers that transplanted organ to undergo apoptosis. So apoptosis occurs in the transplanted organ. That is why we use a lot of immunosuppressants when there's organ transplantation, so that our body does not reject a foreign organ. Moving on to disuse atrophy. See, atrophy is basically reduction in the size of the cells, also along with reduction in the number of the cells. So how is it that the number of cells reduce? Is through a process called apoptosis. The cells die, the cells kill themselves, hence they undergo, hence the number of cells reduces. In just disuse, basically a particular organ is the cells of a particular organ are undergoing cell death because that particular organ is not being utilized to its fullest. It is not being used properly. That is why it's called disuse atrophy. Example can be disuse atrophy of kidney when there's obstruction of ureter or when there's obstruction of urinary bladder. That's when the kidney cells undergo apoptosis. Similarly, another example can be disuse atrophy of pancreas when there's an obstruction of pancreas